Hello, you're watching National News Stream, bringing you the latest developments from Eritrea, Africa and around the world, keeping you informed and connected to the truth. These are today's headlines. Uganda battles new Ebola outbreak and a vaccine hesitancy crisis. Sudan Army aligned foreign ministry sets path to elections amid civil war. U.S. aid freeze sparks warning from Ethiopia's rights leader. Dozens die in Guatemala after bus veers off bridge. Russia launched drone attack on Kiev, Sami Ukrainian officials say. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu appears in court for corruption trial. And U.S. committed to buying and owning Gaza, Trump says. News in brief. A month after the Ebola outbreak hit Uganda in September 2022, Edward Kiua, a 32-year-old truck driver, experienced symptoms including headache, fever, and muscle pain. Although he suspected he was infected, widespread conspiracy theories made him fearful of seeking medical attention. After 2 days of hesitation, he realized that patients were not being killed and some were recovering, so he personally called an ambulance to take him to the hospital. The outbreak, which lasted 4 months, claimed 55 lives and left 142 confirmed cases, including Kaiwa, who was fortunate to survive. This was Uganda's 7th Ebola outbreak and the 5th involving the Sudan virus strain, which has a fatality rate exceeding 40%. The crisis highlighted widespread misinformation and vaccine hesitancy, further complicating containment efforts. Many Ugandans expressed frustration over the lack of clear communication from health officials, fearing the long-term economic and social impact of repeated outbreaks. Health experts continue to emphasize the importance of vaccination and public awareness to combat future health crises. Sudan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs has introduced plans for a transitional government to restore democracy in the country's ongoing civil war. The ministry, which is aligned with the army, outlined the roadmap on social media, emphasizing military advances against the rapid support forces and is stressing the need for national reconciliation. The plan includes forming a transitional government, appointing a civil prime minister, and engaging in dialogue with political and civil society groups to ensure a peaceful transition. The ministry urged RSF forces to surrender if they wish to participate in the political process, requiring them to withdraw from key areas including Khartoum, West Kordofan, and Darfur. The announcement comes after 2 years of intense conflict that has displaced millions and claimed tens of thousands of lives. The Sudanese leadership faces mounting international pressure to end hostilities and pave the way for free and fair elections. The recent freeze on global aid by U.S. President Donald Trump has raised alarms among Ethiopian human rights organizations. Masoud Gabayuhu Reta, executive director of the Ethiopian Human Rights Organization, warned that numerous humanitarian and civil society groups may have to cease operation due to the financial shortfall. As a direct consequence, the Ethiopian Ministry of Health has already announced the termination of over 5,000 contracted health workers, significantly impacting the country's medical infrastructure. Reta expressed concern that Trump's decision disregards the goodwill of the American people who have long supported global humanitarian efforts. He stressed that the aid belongs to the people and is meant to assist communities suffering from conflict, climate change, and disease. With USAID's involvement in over 120 countries, including efforts to provide food, clean water, and medical assistance, the suspension of aid is expected to have devastating consequences. At least 30 people lost their lives when a bus plunged approximately 20 meters from Punta Belize, a major highway bridge in Guatemala City. The vehicle, traveling in a busy route, veered off the bridge into a polluted ravine, trapping survivors and leaving bodies scattered in the wreckage. Emergency responders rushed to the scene, where images showed the bus partially submerged in wastewater amid the devastation. President Bernardo Arvalo declared 3 days of national mourning and deployed the military and disaster relief teams to support recovery efforts. Expressing his grief, Arvalo stated that he stood in solidarity with the families of the victims and shared their pain. Authorities have launched an investigation into the cause of the accident as the country grapples with tragedy. Russian drone attacks overnight caused significant damage in Kiev and Sami, with Ukrainian officials reporting fires and injuries. The Ukrainian military confirmed that 61 out of 83 drones had been intercepted, while additional drones were disrupted by electronic warfare. In Kiev, a fire broke out in a non-residential building in Sunny. A 38-year-old woman was hospitalized, while 5 houses sustained damage. Emergency services shared images showing burning vehicles and shattered windows, forcing the evacuation of 65 residents. The ongoing conflict, which began with Russia's full-scale invasion in 2022, has resulted in thousands of civilian casualties. While both sides denied targeting civilians, attacks continue to devastate Ukrainian communities, escalating tensions between the two nations. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu appeared in court for his ongoing corruption trial today, marking a significant moment in Israeli's politics. As he entered the courtroom, a woman in attendance questioned whether it was time to secure the release of all hostages, referencing recently freed captives who appeared malnourished. Netanyahu, the first sitting Israeli leader to testify as a criminal defendant, faces charges of accepting luxury gifts and favoring media moguls in exchange for positive coverage. Netanyahu, 75, continues to deny all allegations, describing them as a politically motivated witch hunt. His trial, coupled with allegations of war crimes in Gaza, adds further pressure on his leadership. The proceedings have drawn widespread attention, highlighting ongoing political turmoil in Israel. U.S. President Donald Trump reaffirmed his stance on Gaza, emphasizing a plan to buy and own the war-torn enclave. Speaking aboard Air Force One, he described Gaza as prime real estate and suggested that Middle Eastern countries could take on the responsibility of its redevelopment. While en route to New Orleans, he stated that reconstruction efforts may be outsourced to regional allies under U.S. supervision. Trump's remarks have sparked controversy as critics argue that they reflect a transactional approach to a deeply complex geopolitical crisis. With Gaza still reeling from destruction, international leaders continue to debate the future of the region and the role global powers should play in its reconstruction. Well, that concludes today's edition of Nazna News Stream. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates. Thank you for watching and goodbye.